So let's get started with the dailies. And yes, let's begin with this Nigeria as our first daily to look out what exactly is leading on the three-man assembly. Supreme Court dismisses Fubara's appeal. Ameole 26 lawmakers awarded $2 million as cost against petitioners. Why we withdrew Rivers State government, court discountenance withdrawal. That's why case was dismissed with cost. So, guys, I think we're going to dwell on this for a long time. It's part of our segment on the program, so I don't want to just speak on it. But basically, just for context, there are different cases within the Rivers political space that are before the Supreme Court. Only one judgment came yesterday. The other ones have been reserved. So this one has nothing to do with the status of the lawmakers and defection and all of that. It was basically, this case was instituted before they defected. I know they had their issues, fight up and down. Eventually, he became factional leader, and
there you go, getting into it.
No, I'm just providing context because I've seen a lot of things online, as well as even from people that I expect to know better. Just mixing up. I can understand why you mix up. Even those of us who follow this story, sometimes we almost get mixed up. Because when a case has maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 cases, you don't know which is what. So just to put it there, this has nothing to do with the status. The status is a big one everyone is waiting for. But this has to say that 2024 budget and everything in between there that I presented before the AHIA group should have been presented before Ameole. So anyway.
Jeffrey. Don't over-rehearse. We'll get to that part of the conversation. But isn't there any other thing that is catching your interest this morning on the front page of this Nigeria?
Well, if you have it, I just want to be as clear as we can.
Okay, I see one here. Blank registration, JAM sanctions 6 CBT centers. Now, if you're a potential candidate, you may want to get some form of awareness that will equip you so that you're doing JAM. You're writing that very important test just once and you don't have issues with that particular exam. But we go on to Nigerian News Direct this morning. What is happening in the hospitality sector in Oyo State? Listen to this. Oyo hospitality sector gains over 10,800 new investments in 6 years. That's an interesting one. And, perhaps this is a testament to what's going on in that state in the form of infrastructure development, because it is where, development and stability is found that investment, of course, will naturally, gravitate
I would
towards.
like to read what this 10,800. What is this? This people building? What exactly does this mean? So maybe you and I will have to check out the pages of the Nigerian News Direct. 10,800 new investment. What does that mean?
It's a specific area of investment, hospitality sector.
What does it mean in English?
Exactly, what does it mean? And what's the template, that other states can learn from? So why are the hospitality investors going there?
Maybe a context. So a member of government, I think it was the Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Wasi Olatunbosi, was speaking yesterday, said, and let me use the words, he said, overall, registered hospitality ventures in the state have risen by 10,800 since 2019. So I think this is just saying, CAC, how many businesses registered under the description of hospitality since 2019?
And operational?
So that's another thing.
Okay.
The operational bit, the profit bit, that's another part of the conversation. So it's just registration. Okay.
Wakade, are you sure?
I just quoted what the commissioner said. I didn't make this up. Let me say it again.
No. Perhaps
overall,
you also need to back that up by going to your state and finding out indeed
I'm giving you
the measure of physical investment.
I'm giving you facts. I'm giving you facts right now. One more time. Overall, registered hospitality ventures in the state have risen by 10,800 since 2019.
But it doesn't mean that they're not operational.
I'm just
trying to be nice here.
I'm not being nice. I'm just saying this is what he said, registered. Now, the other bit of the conversation is something else entirely, which absolutely, I mean, all of them could be profitable, okay? But I'm just saying this is what the commission is
So from beer parlors to hotels to pubs to anything, or people that are doing, what do they call it, tour guide,
yes,
and all of that. So,
call a tour guide company. That's also
if all of these are operational, this is impressive.
Absolutely.
If this is operational in 6 years, this will be quite impressive. That means this should affect IGR of the state and all of that. So,
well, even if there are beer parlor investments there, despite not the days of little beginnings.
Come on,
it's an investment.
Nobody's despising anything.
At the top right corner of Nigeria News Direct this morning, there's this one that should also get your attention. That would be 100-day power outage. IBEDC UCH seal agreement to restore power following Adelabu's intervention. And, this is heartwarming following that very disturbing picture that we saw days ago of how patients brought generators to the hospital just to ensure that their treatment is seamless. So we understand that this intervention has been provided to ensure that the situation changes. Yeah. And right under that, okay, we'll leave it there for the Nigerian News Direct.
Absolutely. Turn our attention to the Nigerian Tribune, and this paper is heavy on politics this morning. Atiku, Tambuwal, others visits to Obasanjo. I'll take it again. Atiku, Tambuwal, others visits to Obasanjo sparks fresh debate. I wasn't at Obasanjo's house because of 2027, says Atiku. But Obasanjo said, I won't talk about 2027. So page 15, it's funny how nobody's talking about 2027, but 2027 is being talked about. Because somehow this has now centered around 2027. And you see the picture of them at his residence yesterday. So if they won't talk about 2027, maybe we also should not talk about 2027 and move on to the next headline on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
But we know that prior to this time, there was no particular love lost between former president and his former
I think they resolved it prior to 2023 elections. I think they mended the broken fence or the broken relationship, as the case may be.
Well, I've learned that when politicians are saying look left, don't look left, just look right. That's all I'm saying.
Or look both ways and look up and down, just cover all the angles.
So since they say we shouldn't look at 2027, let's assume that 2027 is front. We're looking left, right, up, back. I said what they are saying we should not look at. Thank you.
I have amended to the effect that
it's okay.
There will be expressive demonstrated support for the ambition of former Vice President.
I think to some extent, former President Obasanjo gave him support for that 2023 election. There was that. Well, I know Obi also came in the mix, right?
We saw that video where the former president actually stood up from a chair and handed over the seat to the presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
Where he was like, no way, no, you're not going to run. So I think things are getting better. But just to reiterate the point you made about the UCH matter, which is also on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Yes, it's good that they found some sort of resolution. But this 107 days of power outage, there has to be some sort of repercussion.
Somebody has to pay for it. Somebody has to pay. Okay, maybe we'll go to the next paper, The Guardian. Let's maybe wrap up with The Guardian. It's a different headline altogether. Stronger Naira unsettles the foreign exchange market amid waning dollars saving. Well, it's great to see this, but I think it's early days yet.
Well, since the Bloomberg match system, I think over almost 3 months now, December, January, February, just counting that way, I think it's fair enough to say, I mean, it looks like it's going well. Because at this rate now, it looks like you're able to plan. There's
steady gaining in strength.
You know why I'm saying what I'm saying? If you watch the market, there's a lot of talk and speculation, and perception plays a key role in the market at the end of the day. Some people hold dollar accounts, or in fact, I heard about 30 billion in dollars, dollar accounts and all of that. But what we're saying that we've seen dollar go to 1.9, Naira go to 1.9 per dollar, and we came all the way to, I think, about almost less than 1,000, and people were withdrawing their dollar. So that's why we're saying this year, if there's a great achievement that this government can achieve, is to make the market settle, like a bit of stability.
But that would mean intervention.
Yeah. No. For now, because it's floated, there's no what do you call it? There's no subsidy for FX anymore. So no, nobody's intervening now.
Right.
Nobody's intervening now. So, but that's why in the next 3 years, for instance, the government is saying we're going to keep it at 1,005. So it could come less, it could come more. So if oscillates around that number is fair. So that's what I'm saying. The statement almost unsettles FX market, winning dollar.
No, because I think it's been consistent.
That's what I'm saying. I say we went from 1.9 to almost 1,000 naira in this administration's life. So calm down.
Besides that, Jeffrey,
I'm not saying I'm not happy. I'm saying calm down.
Besides that, Jeffrey and Kad, it's also interesting that this stability is coming at a time where we're seeing continued importation of petroleum prices. And you know, prior to this time, petroleum products rather, prior to this time, we would have seen an increase in the pump price of petroleum products. But we now have guaranteed domestic production amid the continuing war, price war between Dangote Refinery and Petrol, the NNPCL. For me, it's just curious that there's some form of stability in the FX market, the Naira to the dollar. I don't know if you're making the same observation.
So I'm happy. Whatever happens, if crude is coming down and we're gaining, the Naira is gaining strength. The crude, the what do you call it? The PMS price will also come down, right? That's how it is. I don't like where sometimes our economy defies economic logic.
But the PMS price is only coming down, from one side of the market, not across board.
NNPC.
So those questions should be asked.
We will take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get to the very first conversation for the day. Bukola has interest in petroleum economics. Maybe we'll do a course.
We all have interest.
We'll take a break and we'll come back to start the very first conversation that has to do with reverse politics. Join us again.